Hi everyone, so this is going to be a video about how to draw faces. This is the technique I use, or the technique I've been using recently. So when it comes to drawing faces, I'm sure you've heard of these different methods like the Loomis method or the Riley method. I haven't been taught them specifically, so I can't tell you which one's better. But it's always important to remember that you're trying to draw something realistic, and so you want to have a technique that portrays the features of the face very well. And so when I'm demonstrating this, I'll probably be talking about what I'm thinking about when I'm drawing, so that you can kind of have that same thought process as well, instead of just drawing for the sake of it. So with the first box I'm drawing, I'm trying to portray the front of the face and the back of the head, which is important for proportion. With the circle in the middle of the head, I'm trying to portray where I want the ear to be, and the oval is to portray where the face should be. I then use the circle to portray that this is going to be one side of the face. This is what really gives that 3D effect to the head you're drawing, and it will make it easier for you to start shading. Now you may have noticed that where I put the line has kind of changed the perspective of where the head is facing. Because it was more concaved, it kind of makes it look like it's looking in front. If I had made it convex, it may have seemed like the face was looking downwards, which is why that line is kind of important. Now with the features of the face, like the nose, I could have made it a bit more simpler, but I just wanted to put them in straight in so that you can kind of see that you can improvise with these features. I think what I'm trying to show here now is that, you know, you can suffer from same face syndrome, so this is where you can have a bit of time to improvise, be a bit creative. So once I've put those circles there, I know kind of where the nose is, where the mouth is as well. I can start putting in shading, and this is usually where your type of creativity towards the drawing can kind of come in. So with these steps, the more important thing here is to think about, how do I make it look 3D? So I put some shading above the eye line, so that you can see that eye is kind of popping out. I put it under the nose, so you know that the nose is protruding from the face, and under the lip. So it's those kinds of things that you need to think about, but the basics for that face are there, so you can keep repeating this technique for different angles. So here I do the technique again, you know, with simpler features, so that you know that it doesn't always need to be complicated. You know, you can still capture all of those features with less lines. Now this step I think is more important, because again, with techniques like this, you start to make the face a bit more static. So it's important to know that this is a face that can move about, and it's supposed to be replicating what a real face can do. So a real face has a jaw which can open and shut, and that needs to be represented in how you draw your faces. So here you would use the circle as kind of like a hinge point for that jaw, and then you would draw another simple shape to represent how a jaw can open. I think side profiles may be one of the easiest ways to kind of make sure you're getting all your shapes right. This is because you no longer need to worry about making it look 3D. All side profiles have some sort of two-dimensional style to them, so you can just focus on what shapes are involved when drawing a face, and keep practicing that. It's very quick and simple, and you can just keep adding to it to kind of fix it. So once you've practiced drawing with those contour lines, you want to start practicing drawing with just freehand, with no construction lines. And the benefit to doing this is that you have to think a bit more. So you're using essentially the same techniques as you did when you were drawing with the contour lines, but you're picking out the most important parts and you're putting those down on the page. And that's essentially what drawing freehand is. It's not that I've forgotten everything. I'm using exactly the same techniques, but I'm not drawing everything. And this is kind of going to build a bit more muscle memory, because now you're simplifying something that could have taken you 100 lines to something that's going to take you like 10 or 20, depending on how confident you are. So this is just a matter of practice. You should try and draw some with references and others without. So this face that I'm drawing now is kind of using the same face angle as one of the other drawings I did with the construction lines. So you can kind of tell where the similarities are and where I've kind of taken these contour lines out of. And obviously you want to improvise a bit more, so I've just added a bit of hair here, which may or may not look good, but again, you don't want it to be too similar to the reference you're using, so you kind of want to use your imagination a bit. And this is a good place to start because, you know, hair is supposed to be a bit more free-flowing. There's no correct way, so it doesn't necessarily ruin your drawing if you make a little mistake. And finally, you want to draw the head from different angles, because drawing from a front view can be kind of helpful in terms of understanding what's going on, but when you draw from different angles, you start to realize the kind of 3D nature of a head, and that can make it easier for you to understand the shapes that are going on. So from a front view, you may not realize that the nose is a bit more triangular or has a kind of triangular 3D shape to it, which you see a bit more when you're drawing it from different head angles. And I believe that is it for my drawing face tutorial. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I'll catch you in the next video.